What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Central Michigan Multiple Playbook in College Football 25. Jim McElwain. This is probably the last playbook you'll ever see of his in a video game. He has moved on. They got somebody else at the helm now. But this is a good playbook if you want a good mix of shotgun and pistol formations. It also has a good collection of condensed / compressed formations too. We're going to cover all of that, the formations, concepts, play types, and personnel. And hopefully by the end of the video, you have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. I actually want to start over at play type. This gives you a good idea of how many plays are in this playbook. There's about 250 or so, which is about average. You notice here it's got a little over 20 option plays and a little over 20 RPOs. That's actually a low number, I guess, for some other playbooks, but that kind of gives you a rough idea in terms of just kind of what it's comprised of, in terms of how much of the type of running you may want to do. Just as you could tell, there's just a lot more basic runs as opposed to options and RPOs combined. But let's go over to formations. Like I said, it's pretty much half gun, half pistol. We got a little bit more gun than pistol, so we'll start here. Gun deuce close, a good compressed set, a 2x2 look, and then it's two tight ends, by the way. And then we got another two tight end formation, wing stack, and then we got doubles. This is our first 11 personnel. You're going to see a bunch of this. This is another good 2x2, one back look. Then we got double Z close weak. This is an oddball formation. We'll cover that a little bit later. Then we got normal Y off weak. And then we got stack halfback weak. And then we got Y off trips, our first trips look of the day, 24 plays there. Then we got trio offset week, another trips look. Then we got tight open. So your tight end, 88, he's still out there. So as you can see, this is still kind of like 11 personnel, but a nice little 2x2 compressed look. Then we got spread halfback week, another 2x2, and then we got empty base trio and 11 personnel formation. And now we're back to deuce close. So the biggest thing, actually, let's go to pistol next. I just want to cover these. We got deuce close. Notice we got the gun version and the pistol version, a nice little 2x2, two tight end look. Then we got basic deuce when you're moving your two receivers out a little bit more. Then we got wing slot, another two tight end look. And then we got tight Y off flex, another condensed formation. And then we got doubles Y off, 11 personnel with the one back, one tight end. Then we got the trips version of that if you need it. So that is it for all the formations. The biggest thing I want to point out is how many compressed / condensed formations they are. You got like deuce close, wing stack, double Z close weak is another good one. You keep on going. We have tight open as another good compressed formation. Then you go over to pistol. We got deuce close. Then we have tight Y off flex. There's like 5 or 6 formations right there that are all really condensed. So another thing I want to point out, this is a one-back offense. If you noticed, you didn't see any two-back formations whatsoever, especially from the pistol as well. Again, everything is simply one back, so kind of keep that in mind. You do have pretty much a lot of 2x2 and 3x1 looks, as you can see here, mostly 2x2. So any type of offense usually starts off with 2x2, and you work off of that. You throw in the trips version of kind of wherever you're going to start. But I also want to mention that most of these formations have an okay amount of pre-snap motion. I'm going to cover like some of these. Like this is a really good formation to pretty much start your offense with. You got 27 plays here. You're going to have basic jet sweep type stuff. You got 6 plays there to work with, but there's some other formations that's got some other pre-snap motion. Here we got a Z motion. I just kind of wanted to point that out as you kind of go through here. The other thing is there are a lot of unique formations that not a lot of playbooks have them. Starting off, let me go back over to the very beginning. Deuce close is a rare formation. Not a lot of playbooks have it. Same with wing stack. I think this is a really neat two tight end formation. Notice we got a little exit motion there with a halfback thing, and you got another one with a jailbreak screen. That's pretty cool. Then you got a tight end motion as well. So that's a really rare formation. You go to double Z close weak. I think only 4 or 5 playbooks have it. There's only 6 plays here, but at least it's something different. Then you keep on going. Stack halfback weak is another oddball formation. And then trio offset weak is another rare formation. You got 15 plays here to work with, but most of the time these little trips looks will have like the halfback to the other side, and it won't be like a flex look with that slot receiver. But hey, again, we got 4 or 5 different formations that are just kind of unique to this playbook. Not a lot of playbooks have tight open as well. And then when it comes to pistol, not a lot of playbooks have pistols. Some of them got 4 to 5, just kind of depending. But I do know like deuce close, not many playbooks have it. So again, a lot of compressed formations and a lot of oddball formations just in general. Tight Y off flex is another good example of that. So you kind of have an idea in terms of your formations, what we have. I want to talk about personnel, do a little different way to look at your formations. The bulk of this is 11 personnel, as you would expect. Most playbooks are like that. You do have some 12 personnel. That's going to be another big focus here. Deuce close. You see about what, 4, 5. Let's say, yeah, we got 5 total 12 personnel formations there. Your other main one is really not much. I mean, this is an 11 personnel and a 12 personnel playbook as a whole. There's no 10 personnel to speak of, nothing very wide receiver heavy. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. So when it comes to concepts, let's start off with the run game. You notice the play count for a lot of these. The bulk of this, just kind of going through these, you got a little bit of everything, like with most playbooks. Inside zone is going to be your most popular, as you can see here. So if this is a zone running scheme, you want to make sure you want to implement some outside zone as well. And this one has a little bit more than the usual with 7 because it's it got some pistol built into it, as well as you can see some of these stretch looks from these pistol formations. So this is a zone running scheme. You're going to implement some draw as well because that's typically still zone running, but you can implement some gap scheme if you needed to. We got 8 powers and you got 9 counters. We actually got more counter than power, which is actually kind of rare. And you can also throw in that one sweep from goal line, which I don't know if you'll ever use. And then we got a couple of traps, again, more gap scheme type stuff. So you got a mix of the two, pick whichever one you want, but it's obvious when you have that much inside zone, that should kind of tell you something. Okay, now when it comes to option, notice we got almost as much option play as we got run. Now remember, RPOs are built into this. But we got, 11 reads. I'm going to go over here to the more common ones. We got 14 read options. This will be your main option play in general. Just a few speeds. You only got a triple. But you look at your RPOs, you got 5 peaks, you got 11 reads, and they're all various alerts and bubbles, just, nothing too out of the ordinary. And you only got 4 alerts, which is actually a really low number. So as we saw earlier, at the beginning, there's not a lot of option stuff in here to begin with, but I think the bulk of you're going to focus on is going to be some of this read stuff right here and read options. So just think the word read, that kind of comprises the entire option / RPO game with this playbook. When it comes to quick passing, you kind of look through here, we have more slant than anything else, but some of the slant's going to have some stick built into it. As you see here, that double slant stick's a really cool play. So we got 6 stick to go with that, but don't neglect the space. And we got 5 of them here, which is actually kind of high number for that concept. But like with most playbooks, slant's going to be a big one and stick will be your go-to there. If you want to throw in a few Ohio, you can, but if you kind of notice they're not really quick to begin with, the slot route is kind of deep as is. So again, slant and stick will be your go-tos. Let's talk about the mediums. Starting off, just kind of going through these numbers, we got a really high number of smash. That's pretty common with most playbooks. A lot of high-low reads, various ways to do it, either like corner strike with a counter flat, or if you need to do like a pivot flag, if you need to do something like that. But 21 is a really high number. We got a lot of curls. I mean, an absolute ton, 15 of them. Any type of curl or a hitch, they're going to dump it here. You keep on going. 10 double moves. Now, this isn't technically a concept. This is just a route that has a double move somewhere, if that is your thing. So I don't pay too much attention to these. It really depends on, like, for example, this trio offset weak. That's a flood concept, in my opinion. It actually should be over in the flood concept when we can look at that a little bit later. But you got 10 of those. Let's go and find some other more popular ones. That is kind of, you do got 8 mesh. I will come back around to this one. 8 is actually a pretty decent number. This has got a little bit of air raid into it. And like I said, for mesh, 8 is a decent number. But again, the bulk of this is going to be smash and curl. The rest of it, it's just kind of up to you what you want. But you notice all the different kinds of medium pass concepts that we have here. You go to deep pass, let's go find the real popular ones. You got 10 verticals and the different kinds of verticals. Like, I love the gun trio offset weak play right there. The verticals I like. You got the out routes underneath with verticals over the top instead of something just very basic like all go from the play over there on the left. We got 9 comebacks. That's a pretty decent number. You keep on going. Do we have anything else that's kind of high? 12 shot plays. So it's funny how they organize some of these concepts. Pretty much just kind of going over the top. Some of it could be play action. Some of it not so much. It just kind of depends. You could throw some verticals in here if you needed to. But again, kind of going over the top with all this shot play, some verticals and comebacks will be your go-tos. when it comes to the deep passing game. When it comes to play action and screen, I actually want to go over to play type, and I want to go to pass, and I want to go look over here. So when it comes to play action, we only got 27 play actions. They're in here if you need them, but this isn't a very play action heavy attack. It just kind of depends on your run game, and you want to do play action off of that. It's just kind of up to you, but 27, honestly, is a really low number, even for a playbook of this size. But again, you got something in here, as you can tell, if you need it or not. Now, when it comes to basic screens, we're talking non-RPO screens. We got 16 of these. A lot of halfback slip screens, a lot of some alert screens, even a little bubble here and there. So that kind of comprises of your play action in your screen. But when you go over to like your options, again, I just want to point this out. Only 21 option plays. I guess that's enough of what you need, but it's the most basic things. It's got read option, even has a QB slot option, which is technically that one triple we looked at. And that's just kind of it. Again, you're going to do more read option than anything here. And you got 20 RPOs. This isn't an RPO heavy playbook, but you got enough in here just depending on what you're looking for. But again, the reads are typically the most important ones here. But it's funny how they group some of these. Again, some of these are bubbles and alerts and whatnot. It's just kind of up to you how you want to go about doing that. But either way, it's a good little playbook. I highly recommend it. It's got some good stuff in it. It just depends if you like that combination of things, especially if you like a lot of these condensed formations, which I think makes this playbook stand out. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.